Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ohio State Buckeyes Call-In Show. I'm your co-host Ryan Stano.
I'm Garrison Gaddy.
Garrison, um, there's been a little bit of news since we talked on Monday, specifically when it comes to recruiting, which the recruiting machine certainly does not stop. Um, so while we wait for some people to go ahead and call in, I'll go ahead and drop the link here in the chat for people because this is your guys' show. We want to hear from you. But before we get some people calling in, I do want to talk about Tyler Atkinson, someone who has been on Ohio State's radar for quite a while, and he will be visiting this weekend as a five-star prospect. Atkinson will be attending the spring game, and he is he's a linebacker. He's actually rated as the number one linebacker in the country and the 7th overall recruit in the entire country, regardless of position. So he's a big one. And, I know right now he's projected to head to Georgia, but this is also the 5th time he's going to be in Columbus. So this is an important visit. What do you think about Atkinson, and what do you think about their possible chances of landing tomorrow?
I wouldn't say they're high, right? Like I wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tough, to get him out of that, that part of the country. Georgia.
He's a Georgia boy.
Yeah, he's a Georgia boy. On top of that, Georgia over the last few years has had great linebacker production going into the NFL. Ohio State seems to be on the rise in that facet, but it's not as proven as what Georgia has. I am surprised that James, like I saw this today, James Laurinaitis is not heading that recruitment. It is Walton. It is Perry Eliano. I don't know why it's Eliano, but it's Walton on there. Yeah. But I also think that's because Tim Walton is the second best recruiter on this team. that's just what it is.
Although Matty G's making a run for that.
Oh yeah, that's true. Let's be honest now. That's his. Yeah, he's the recruit for that position now.
Yeah.
But or at least at the safety position. But listen, like you said, it's been 5 times now. So clearly he likes to be in Columbus. It's either the program and the coaches, or it's the Buckeye Donuts. It's got to be one of the two. But what I do know is that he likes to be in Columbus. So
both of those things are good. So that's
they are.
That's a positive.
What do you think the chances are?
I don't think the chances are very high, but I do think that if there is a program that would be able to yank him out of Georgia, it would be Ohio State. Just from the straight fact, as you mentioned, he's been there a lot. He clearly likes something about the program. And, this is somewhere that he clearly thinks he might be able to, he could see himself playing in the future. And coming off a national championship, this is someone who clearly wants to play for one of the best programs out there. He's considered Ohio State and Georgia aren't the only two that have offered him scholarships and, who want to have him come play for them. He's got all the big boys going after him. So he's got no shortage of championship pedigree teams that want him to play for them. And, I'm not going to put the chances at 0, but I certainly wouldn't put them at, higher than 50%. I would say if I had to put a percentage on it, I'd give him a 25% chance. But what does help is he will be there for the spring game. And so a lot of other highly ranked recruits. Like there's going to be a lot of good kids in Columbus this Saturday. So maybe being around all those other guys who are excited about being in Columbus, maybe they all decide, hey, we kind of like being here all together. That's at least my hope.
So to pull this up real quick from Nick Enright. Nick, good to see you here, buddy. Says they're talking about changing the portals to even out players moving around, saying it would also hurt their grades after going to another school. What do you think about that?
Well, that's not something I've seen. I know that they've been talking about getting rid of the spring portal. I haven't kept up with the house settlement quite as much recently because nothing's been finalized. Until something is actually
Right.
finalized, then come call me. I don't need to watch through all the legalese, but I don't know that you know it definitely it definitely can hurt your grades if you go to a different school that's got different academic standards. That's
Mm-hmm.
certainly true. But I'm also not going to sit here and pretend like a lot of 5-star recruits are majoring in nuclear physics. So I don't think that's going to be a problem for a lot of the top guys out there. What do you think?
If you let another fan base tell it, they think their players are. But
That's true. That's true.
well, speaking of that other fan base, that team up north.
Hold on, before we bring them up,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to go ahead and shout out, some of these memberships that we now have launched. You can see them scrolling there on the ticker. Get the Blocko. JT wasn't short. We don't give a damn. These memberships really help us, as creators, give you, all the good content all across the channel. So anything that you can do to help support would be greatly appreciated. I know I speak for both me and Garrison, where we want to build a community here and foster that, and we really appreciate any contributions that you may be so inclined to give. So yeah, we'll go ahead, and if you want to bring in our first caller,
Of course.
Oh, hey.
Tim, what's going on, man?
Hey, Tim.
Nothing. What's up with
By the way,
y'all?
I caught a little bit of your show, man. Good job. I did catch a little bit of it. I commented on there actually. So yeah, go check that out. You ain't answered my question yet.
Yeah.
What was your question?
What you got? I
So
forgot. I had something with the O line. I think.
Okay.
Something with the O line. What's up? What you got?
Some people, both at my school, they think that the Urban Meyer national title team can beat Ryan Day. I can't. I can't tell them that the the Ryan Day national title team is way better than the Urban Meyer national title team.
That's an interesting question. I got to be honest, because that 2014 team, that team wasn't supposed to win a title. Like, they were a year ahead of schedule, and that 2015 team was supposed to be so much better. And the 2024 team was expected to win. Like, they were built for that run. But as far as it being better, I don't know. That's something I got to think about. Do you have an answer to that right away, Garrison?
Oh yeah, I do. They're better. They are.
The 2024 team.
The 2024 team is better than them.
Okay.
I truly believe all right, so that Alabama team, right? Now it was a really good Alabama team. Okay, it was. That's not even in the top 10 Nick Saban teams. So like that's my I don't think they are. I don't think they're in the top 10 Alabama teams. Because they're teams that I don't think they are. I mean, starting at the quarterback position. I just don't.
Blake Sims was not very good. Sure.
No, now did they? Now of course they had Derrick Henry. Like
I was gonna say,
and Cooper. There was a lot of players around. Don't get me wrong. I would actually liken it to this. I think that Alabama and that Ohio State team are very similar, where you had a limited quarterback situation at the time, but everything around them was great, right? But
I'll say this: that
I don't think the wide receivers are better. I think this defense would have given Cardell hell. I think this defense would have gave Cardell hell.
The 2014 team did win a Big Ten title, and they did beat Michigan, so they had that over the 2024 team.
Well. Here's the thing. This is why I always tell people: what happens in one season, and what happens in one respective season, right, Tim? This has nothing to do with this other season. It would be like 2002 Ohio State, 13-0, beat Miami,
14-0, yeah.
I unfortunately 14-0. I can name just off the top of my head, I can name 10 teams at Ohio State that would run through them. Easily.
See, I don't know if they would run through them because look, that
they,
team,
they will run
that 2002 team played maybe one of the most talented teams in college football history in Miami. And they beat them.
A dead clock is right twice a day. I love that team. A dead clock, a blind squirrel finds a nut. That I think
Found
that
it 14 times.
You see what
I mean
added
against that Miami team. What, Tim?
You see what I added down there? A depth chart.
Oh, okay. Oh, hold on. Okay. Okay. Let's pull this up.
Oh, you're talking about the 24 and 23 team. We are not talking about the same thing.
Huh?
You mean the Michigan team?
Yeah.
I thought you meant the 2014 Ohio State team.
Yeah, you mentioned.
I was talking about that. About
so
that. But I wanted
you're
to
just
show
bringing the
y'all
depth
this.
chart. You're just bringing the depth chart up in general. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So let's go down this real quick. Comparing the 2024-2014 Ohio State team. Quarterback.
Yeah, I made this so.
Oh, nice. Nice, actually. But all right, so you give Will Howard the quarterback nod, right? Will Howard's better than Cardale Jones?
Will Howard,
yes.
he was the
starter.
I said yes.
Ryan, you second thought. You second guessed yourself.
No, because I was honestly looking at the depth chart and I was thinking about the Michigan stuff. But yeah, he's better. Okay. He's better than Cardale Jones. Yeah.
And then running back, we don't have to have a discussion.
It'd be Zeke. Just saying.
Zeke.
Yeah.
Offensive line.
Offensive line 2014, but wide receivers 2024.
Tight end.
Receivers, tight end. It's probably 2014, but I can't say it's like.
Was that Farrell?
Yeah.
I'm taking Farrell over anything that's on last year's team.
Yeah, and again, I mean it's close because it's not like neither one of them made a huge impact, but I would say I'd say 2014.
Now defense.
Defensive line, give me 2014.
I disagree.
Joey Bosa? Okay. Taekwon look.
Okay. No. See, so that's Joey Bosa's not the whole defensive line.
Yeah, I go down to the bottom. That way you see the defense.
Who's the other DN was? Wasn't Noah? Was it?
No, I mean Adolphus Washington was the other guy. Adolphus Washington.
Are you taking Adolphus over JT or Jack Sawyer?
Joey Bosa and Nick Bosa.
Nick wasn't there yet.
Nick was not there.
So are you taking Adolphus Washington over JT or Jack? I don't think Adolphus has their peak.
I don't know if I would take him over Jack, but I would take him over JTT. Especially there at the end of the year. Because Noah Spence was kind of gone at this point. He got kicked off early in the year because he had let's just call it some drug problems. But I mean, they had some really good players like up front too. I mean, Steve Miller had a huge play in that Alabama game. Mm-hmm. Now, I think it's close. I really think it's close, and I might be swayed the other way.
All right, here's
because
the thing.
Of 2024.
We actually might be doing this wrong. Whose offense do you trust more to score on the other's defense?
20. See, that's a different question because I don't know which quarterback we're going with for the 2014. Now, if we're just talking about like the national championship rosters, then give me 2024 because Howard.
Wait, do you think Do you think JT Barrett's better than Will Howard?
I think it's a better argument than it is for Cardale Jones. I do think Will played better for Ohio State than JT did.
Okay. But to answer your question, Tim, I think the 2024 team will win, and it's simply because the quarterback. For me, it's simply the quarterback position. Because I think
I know this. You brought the Jim Trunchbull team. Now who? Now can they beat the 2014? Because you brought
Hell no.
the Jim Trussell team.
There isn't one Jim Trussell team that would beat that 2024
The
team.
national title one.
I'm telling you that 2002 defense was nasty, and they beat what many consider the most talented team in college football history. I think
Richie, he said JT isn't better
he has
than
it right.
Will. Oh wait,
no, I do think JT was better than Cardale. That is correct. He is right.
Tomorrow, I'm going live
that is
at
what I'm
5
thinking.
o'clock. I'm doing a big Ohio State versus Michigan live stream tomorrow at 5 o'clock.
You are? Wait. So Tim, if I'm correct here, you do believe Ohio because you are an Ohio State fan, right? Like a closet Ohio State fan. So you think you're gonna pick Ohio State to be better than Michigan, right?
What Ryan Day he need to do? He need to start getting some offensive linemen that no more one no more Ryan. I need y'all to tell Ryan that they this from now on you need to stop recruiting you need to stop recruiting pass blocking on the only offensive lineman. You need to start bringing in some offensive linemen that can
we are
run block at a elite level, and that can barely give up a sack to their quarterback.
That's what they're working on with this class, Tim. They're loading up here as far as the recruiting class goes, and they might be able to land another one this weekend. That's something we'll talk about here in a little bit.
But what about the offensive line? Okay, but the
coaching you mean like recruiting, Tim?
Tyler Bowen's he's a good coach on the offensive line. I mean, he's known more for recruiting. We're going to see how well he develops players. He's known as more of a recruiter, but they got some offensive analysts who can help him. I'm sorry?
He came from the Jaguars.
I mean, Bowen's been all over the place. Yeah. He's had a decent amount of experience within the college football realm. I mean, he's actually kind of bounced around quite a bit, which has been a little bit concerning.
Sam, we talked on the phone. Y'all might know Sam.
Sam who?
College.
Oh, college football, Sam. Yeah. Yeah,
we had a phone call yesterday.
No, he was a good guy, man. No, Sam's a great guy. Dude. I was at what was it 2-3 weeks ago? I was on his show. No, he's a good guy, man. Sam's a good guy. It's funny because what's funny about Sam sometimes? No one some people actually don't know that he's a Michigan fan. It's the funniest thing. Some people because he talks about everybody else in the world, but he's actually one of the few Michigan fans I know that's not biased. I've probably caught his bias a few times. Better than me. I'm as Buckeyes. I love the sport more than I love my own team, but I'm as Buckeyes it gets. Maybe Ryan might be. I don't know. Ryan, you're part of the lunatic fringe, aren't you?
You say that. I am in a group chat that considers ourselves.
The way that he got excited when they beat Penn State and Ohio State, he mentioned it in some of his videos that he is a Michigan fan, but it's going to be very hard to find out about it, unless he said it or unless they beat a certain rivals or all their rivals.
Yeah, no, but to answer your question there, Garrison, like I said, I am in a group chat that it does consider itself a little bit of the lunatic fringe. Some of us are.
One more question. I do know some of the Ohio State fan base. They finally glad that Ryan Day he finally won 2 games against the SEC. Will that continues? Did that happen? Or they just going to go back to giving Ryan Day a whooping every time they meet in the college football the playoffs?
Ryan, you answer this question first?
I'll answer it very quickly. I don't think the SEC is a problem for Ryan Day anymore. Let's just put it that way. I think
at one point it was.
I mean, against Georgia and Missouri, sure. The Georgia game
and Alabama.
But the Alabama game was not great.
Yeah, but I mean, people like this is what I'll say. Like it's almost like the Alabama.
I'll say this: the NIL has
great.
changed. NIL has changed things where now the South is no longer the dominant. They're not the dominant conference anymore because all their money that they paid under the table, now it's legal for everybody else. So now everyone else is caught up. And
Ohio State was doing that too.
Not to the level of SEC.
The
I mean,
oh no, not
Ohio State was
level.
doing it. Michigan was. Notre Dame, all the top programs were.
And to answer your question, Tim, I like the Missouri game. Yeah, look, in the grand scheme of things, it's a loss to the SEC, but it's not something that I really care about. The Alabama game, and it's funny because, like, Ryan, that's funny because just the other day I was in a space, and guys were asking me about, well, Ryan Day hasn't, like he's underperformed, and so I said, okay, if you think he's underperformed, let me ask you this question: did you think he was going to beat that Georgia team? The answer was no. I asked, did you think he was going to beat that Alabama team in 2020? The answer was no. So then I asked,
I did think they were going to beat that Alabama team. I didn't think they were going to beat Georgia. I did think they were going to beat that Alabama team.
I didn't. Well, as soon as I saw Trey Sermon go out on the first drive, I said, the game's over.
At one point in that game against Georgia, they was about to have a 20-point lead in the fourth quarter, and they screwed it up.
Mm-hmm. Tim, let me be honest with you right now. I came into that game asking one thing out of my team: don't embarrass me on national television. I had no intention on seeing my Buckeyes win. But like after that game against you guys, I was just like, I don't know what to expect. It was New Year's Eve. The girl I was dating at the time, she wanted to go out. I said no. We're gonna sit and watch the game. And the next thing you know, I was sitting in my room in the dark. So it's just, I don't know. I think that Ryan Day has one problem. He has one problem, and that problem just happens to be the team up north.
And I think he fixes that next year.
I think he does it in a very fine way.
What about the TCU team? Y'all would have played that team.
We would have
Georgia. TCU.
Hey, that was a free champion. Like that was a free championship. That was free money.
TCU would have been roadkill.
I wish. God, I'm pissed now. I hate thinking about that.
They messed up our run game because we didn't have Blake.
Man. That's okay, Tim. As long as you guys didn't get there. But
That's true.
We got there a year later.
A little later.
Yeah. We did too. Any last questions here for Tim?
They still saying that if they was in it, they would have had three-peated. Well, guess what? Y'all had to face Nick Saban, and Nick Saban, he know how to out coach.
He's the GOAT. Well, he's the college GOAT.
Yep.
The only reason that he lost to Kirby Smart in that national title, the rematch, is because some of his best players on offense and defense they had suffered a season-ending injury, and some of the players they couldn't play right away, in the NFL, and that was including
I still don't think if
Jameson
Jameson Williams, I still don't think if he
Williams.
plays like the full game, I still don't think that they win. I think Georgia was the better team that year.
They lost to them in the SEC championship.
Sure,
Georgia
but once Georgia got on a roll there in the CFP, I didn't think that they were gonna lose that game. Alabama definitely was. They definitely had injuries.
And
That's
that Michigan
for sure.
team, they wasn't supposed to be in the playoffs that year because they had a 2% chance of even making the playoffs.
Yep.
Hmm?
And they had a 0% chance of beating Ohio State that year.
I mean, you always got a chance.
You always got a chance. All right. Well, Tim, appreciate you calling in, and I'm sure we'll end up talking to you again next week.
All right, brother.
You look like the guy that be on the blue and scarlet show.
Me?
Who, me?
That's what Garrison
No,
is.
him.
Hello, Ryan. Oh,
Yeah.
he look like Bryce. I gotta see it's the hair for me. I see it. That's funny.
Sure.
All right, Tim. Have a good night, brother. Have a good show.
See ya.
All right.
He said you look like Bryce. That's hilarious.
I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult.
I think Bryce is a handsome guy. He's my best
All
friend
right.
since middle school. So yeah, he's a
All right.
handsome
Okay.
guy.
All right. I mean, he can't be that smart. He's a Michigan fan, so.
No. Yeah, he's not. Yeah, I wouldn't. He's smart enough. I'll go
Fair
there.
That's the one I was going to pull up. Yep.
So, any word on Favor, Hyder, and Cantwell getting these dudes would be incredible. Heard Cantwell being offered 1.5 mil from Georgia, Miami, and Teton.
I'll say this about Cantwell. It doesn't look great. I know me and Garrison have talked about that before. I would, at this point, I would be very surprised if Ohio State landed him. It seems like he wants to go somewhere a little bit smaller, like in a smaller city. So, I mean, Georgia would certainly qualify for that. Athens. I know he's still considering Missouri as his hometown school. I would be incredibly shocked if Ohio State landed him. I'm assuming you think the same, Garrison, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm right with you. Like, I honestly just adding to what you said, or just affirming what you said. Yeah, I mean, we talked about Columbus is not like, and some people think this is just like, some people may not think I think this is that important. But I've always told people, when it comes to like, NIL is one thing, but there are a lot of other reasons why these recruits pick the places they go, even at the top of the totem pole. Columbus is not a small city, and he wants a smaller city. Like, I guarantee you. Let's say like Ole Miss, right? Let's say Ole Miss and Ohio State were on the same level. He would probably pick Ole Miss because it's a small city. People don't actually know Ole Miss is a very small school compared to most big time universities. Yeah. But no, it's listen, if I'm gonna be the first to tell you guys, if we were somehow to get Cantwell, I'm gonna go live and I'm gonna have a bottle of champagne with me. That's how big that would be. It's, again, he is he's a Terrell Pryor. He's a Nick Bosa. He's a staple for JTT. JTT. He's a staple for a recruiting class, and so he's a Jeremiah. If you want to know what Jeremiah is as an offensive lineman, you're looking at Cantwell. Yep. That's exactly what he is. I mean, hell, Dad's an Olympian, man. Both his parents are, actually.
Yeah. So, as far as Hyder goes and Favor, I think Favor's kind of waiting to see, because I think Ohio State could have him in a heartbeat if they really super wanted him. I mean, he's a local kid, like he's up there in Delaware, so he's not he's someone who, Ohio State's been interested for a while, but I think he's also waiting to see if Ohio State can land Hyder, because if they do, then the running back room might get a little bit crowded. And Hyder's, I mean, he's a bigger prize. He's a 5-star kid. he's, I've seen some of the people in the chat saying, he's like Henderson because he's from Virginia. There's a lot of similarities there in his running as well. So, as far as any word, I mean, I've seen positive things, but nothing conclusive. Or I still think I still think Ohio State's in the mix, but I don't think he has made any narrow decisions yet. And I think if Ohio State was like, "Hey, you really need to come here, favor," like if they really want him, he'd sign in 2 seconds. They're still projected to get him. So I think it kind of just depends what happens with the rest of the running back class.
See, Matt, he also says 8 straight wins under Urban, 400 T. Don't get. Hey, look, I always try to point this out to people. It's don't get me wrong, losing that game sucks. It sucks, but it's 4 years in a row, right? Is it 6 or 7 wins in the last quarter century? 6.
Yeah, it might have been fewer. 11. I don't even count 11. But yes, 11 and then the last 4. So 5.
Yeah, I just I don't I
mean, I would certainly like to win. So but
listen, like I said, I'm 30. Like I started watching football and understanding it at like 2nd grade. So that's usually where I count from what I count as my lifetime as an Ohio State fan. Or I'll be okay, buddy. I'm 32 years old. I got time.
By the way, happy birthday! I saw you had a birthday here recently.
Man. Appreciate you. Yeah, yep. Big 3-2. It's my Travion Henderson year, man.
It is your Henderson year. So that means you got to win a natty.
And then Richie says, "Fire." Oh yeah. I'm guessing it's just in terms of the. Rich, I'm guessing you're talking about if we were to lose that game or the past season, if we didn't win a championship or whatever. Like Ryan and I, we had these conversations before the natty happened, and we were on the opposite. We were on the I said opposite spectrum. We were on the opposite sides of it, but right now we don't have to worry about that.
That's right. That's not nothing we got to worry ourselves about anymore.
It feels so good to say that. Like all those conversations about like every news, dude, to the point where even First Take is talking about Ryan. Listen, when I saw First Take talking about Ryan Day possibly getting fired, that's when I knew that like if it reaches that point, I know it's gone too far. It's gone too far, and I'm happy that we don't have to have that conversation. Don't do that, Ryan. I saw the conversation went too far. If Stephen A. Smith has to talk about it, that's a problem.
Because Stephen A. Smith doesn't know shit about the college football. Like, let's be real. He said C.J. Stroud was better as a runner than a thrower. Like they pay him just to sit there and talk about the biggest topics of the day, whether he's educated about them or not. He's not like go-to authority on college football.
He called Haskins a runner.
Yeah, they did the same thing for Haskins. Yeah, ridiculous.
Oh man, what an idiot! But
yep.
You bring in Caden.
Before you do that, go ahead and do your reading.
Yeah. Let's do that real quick, everybody. So, word here from the voice of college football. Get your business, product, service, or personal brand to the next level by partnering with the voice of college football. Let's discuss how you also can reach your target market. Now, you can also look right here at the Winning Agency. They have been a partner with ours for a long time. They're a great partner. Done a lot of work with them. If you want to be just like them and get your products to the next level, contact us at sponsorships@bocfb.com. Again, that is sponsorships@bocfb.com today.
All right, let's go ahead and bring in our next caller. Hey, Caden.
Garrison, Ryan, how's it going?
Well, how about you?
I'm good. I took the week off from my job. I was a little hungover throughout the morning, so I'm okay now. a lot of tequila.
Hey, it's birthday. Might as well.
Well, first of all, Garrison, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you, man.
I'm somewhat in a good mood, but I'm like a majority in a bad mood at the moment.
Why is that?
Well, first of all, I had a conversation with the main guy of the Voice of College Football on an episode of his with Miss Leanne Herring,
How
and
did
I
that
don't know.
go?
Well, no, I was just trying to point out the fact that Ohio State should run back a certain way that they had the program. They should have kept the same morals and the same, defenses, like the same mentality that the great Coach Tressel had in the locker room, because that's what kept our seasons, good. That's what reminded everybody in the world of college football why Ohio State was number one.
Mhm.
And not only that, it's there's three letters that describe Ohio State's defense in that era, in my opinion: hurt, destroy, repeat. Because that's all they did to everybody, was just hurt, destroy, and repeat. That's all they did. Ragdolling everybody, throwing around their carcasses like nobody.
That's not true. That's not true.
Yeah.
I saw. Wait, Caden, how old are you?
21.
Okay, so all right, Caden, do you know the name Khalil Mack?
Khalil Mack, of course I know Khalil Mack from the Raiders.
When he was at Buffalo, I saw him damn near beat us by himself. Have you ever
pick
heard
sticks on Braxton right away?
Oh my God! Have you ever heard of Garrett Wolf?
Derek Wolf.
So Garrett Wolf was a 5'7". He was 5'7", 100.
Yeah, he was my size.
Caden, he had over 300 total yards on us. No, it was like, dude, listen. If we were ragdolling everybody, Tressel wouldn't be 1-3 in national championship games. Nor would he be. Yeah, and mind you, listen. I love Jimmy T. I love him. We lost back-to-back national championships. Like that.
Florida put 41 up on him.
It was disgusting.
And no, that national championship was only that Tim Tebow was praying to God that he didn't get his carcass beaten, and Ohio State's defense didn't beat the living hell out of him.
But he was a backup.
He was their backup.
Well,
Chris Leak was the main guy.
He's lucky we didn't beat the hell out of him.
I think Ohio State was lucky that they were able to score more points. They looked like they were woefully unprepared for that game, which was so disappointing.
Just understand where I'm coming from as someone who played the game of football since middle school and high school. And I'm telling you what, that time away in now just playing football, personally with my brothers who I still talk to, that's what I reminded Coach Laurinaitis and having a conversation with him. That attitude is what brought the better side out of Ohio State. That's what attitude I'd rather see out of that locker room, and especially when we go on the field and play somebody, especially like Texas or somebody like Oklahoma. This is our house. This is nobody else's house. The house that Harley built is where we play, and if we got to go to their place and beat the living heck out of them, we will. That's what this program was based on. The three letters, HDR, hurt, destroy, repeat. Because that's all that defense did. And that's all that defense should do, especially when they play every single opponent, especially Michigan. Now, Michigan can laugh about every single piece of crap they have on their list. 40 wins. Oh, just a half a national championship. You know what? Here's the one thing you don't have, is that I'm the only fan on YouTube, and that's an Ohio State fan, that comes on here and has to tell anybody specifically, and I've had to tell the main man himself, that this program needs to go back the way that they should have kept it. Physical, but keep the locker room, keep the defensive locker room especially in that mindset. Because this program, let me just say, this is one of my personal favorite programs, but also this was the same program who had the most hungry, bloodthirsty, most driven players in the entire world of college football in the nation at Ohio State. We had Andy Ketzenmoyer, Bobby Carpenter, Anthony Schlegel. We had some of the greatest linebackers and linemen to play at Ohio State. And I remind you This is also the same program who Chris Spielman stepped out the game and actually stepped up.
You know what? But
This is the same program. Ryan Shazier, let me add, and Zach Bourne stepped up and played the game. Why do you think that the mindset should be kept in the defensive side of the locker room? And not only the defensive side of the locker room, but in the entire locker room, that mindset needs to be kept. That mindset needs to be embellished, because there is no way that I say Ohio State should not have a loss, not only to Oregon, but not lose once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times to Michigan, because that is an excuse, in my opinion. Now, you can disagree with me on that, but that's all. Honestly, I wanted to come on here because, unfortunately, your buddy Mark Rogers personally called me delusional, stupid, and arrogant. Literally. And I don't know what's Mark's problem about that I have to tell people that Ohio State should keep the mindset that was once embellished into that locker room. But I don't know what his problem is. That I just simply said the fact that Ohio State is a great program, although they need to keep the mindset, that specific mindset, in the locker room.
Wait. So let me get this straight. All right. So okay. All right. Just like you, I played this game. So I played NAIA. I went to the University of St. Francis Cougars, one of the best NAIA programs you can find out there. Now, though we were in the top 3 every season, mind you, I remember one time, Ryan and Kaden, one time we actually had the number 1, 2, 3, and 6 teams in our conference in the nation in NAIA, it was insane. But every day I knew for a fact that my guys and my teammates came into work. There was no doubt about it. And I remember busting my ass in the mornings, waking up at 4 a.m. in the morning, getting to the weight room at 5 a.m. and during the spring. I remember having to run. We had our workouts for conditioning. For the corners, we had to run the 110 yards. Or 120 yards, because you go from end zone to back of the end zone, back of the end zone. Mm-hmm. But we had to do it in 15 seconds and do that 20 times. 15 seconds each. If you didn't get it, you got to redo it. So we're working no matter what. The mentality does not mean you are going to win every game. At the end of the day, when you get between those white lines, man, that other team is trying to win too. There's a reason why. Just because I don't mind shitting on them whenever I can. When the team up north came off of an 11-2, a 10-2 season, and the only 2 losses they had was because this was 06 when they lost to Ohio State, which I believe to be the greatest football game that I've ever seen in my life, because it was.
I watched it.
And then they lost to USC.
Appalachian State.
No, but they lost to USC right after Ohio State, so they're coming up a really good year. You really lost, like Ohio State and Michigan, USC. In Florida that year were the best 4 teams in the nation. The next season, every guy on that team came back. The 3 biggest cogs of that team, or 4 biggest on that team, came back. Mike Hart, Chad Henne, Jake Long, Brandon Graham. Like guys came back. Like Sean Crable, the guys came back. Leon Hall. First game of the year. Boom. Everything flashed in their face. Why? Not only, App State, they came in that game, mind you, winning 2 of the last 3 national championships in the NA and one AA. But dude, when you get in that field, man, it doesn't matter what the mindset is. Like, my mindset is always going to be there. The game has to be played on the field. And so, even though I understand your sentiment, like overall, I get your sentiment. I truly do. And in the grand scheme of things, man, I would Ohio State to win every game. That ain't the norm. That ain't gonna happen. Right,
and honestly, what makes it? What's an excuse? What is the excuse to lose to Oregon and have to have a press conference the night out, the day after the game, and then say that they needed more of what they needed? May I remind you, I was watching that game. We should have not lost to Oregon. And I tell you that.
No. We should have lost that game. We should have lost that game. We didn't deserve to win that game. You go out there, you miss field goals. You go out there, you're off. We lost our left tackle, who's the best lineman on our team. Then you go and you can't run in the second half. You made yourself one-dimensional. You can't stop Dylan Gabriel from passing the ball. You can't stop Jordan James from running the ball. You got a defensive coordinator who refuses to take Denzel Burke out of the game and put Jermaine in the game. You got a head coach who won't drop his balls at the time and make sure that Jim knows that he's his subordinate. You got a defensive line coach who refuses to rotate anybody. We should have lost that game. And you're on the road at night in probably the most hostile territory in college football.
I'll say this. I'd rather win the rematch than that one also.
Hey, can you guys do me a favor? I've got somebody in the back room here that I need you to bring up. Burks, get your butt up here right now.
We're gonna bring Burks up by himself because we want to make sure that we give every call.
We do one at a time here.
No. You bring him up. Bring him up. Bring him up.
Well,
Garrison, bring him up.
Caden, I apologize. We have 15 minutes left, and I would really like to give Burks his time because that's what I really want to do.
Yeah, we got to get to our next caller, man.
Garrison, you better bring up Burks right now because I want to remind this man of why this program. Burks, please, you better do it right now. Burks, Ryan,
buddy,
you better Garrison, get him in here.
I don't want to do this, buddy, but I want
Garrison, get his butt in here right now because that man needs to learn his lesson. Oh.
Yeah, all right.
I don't want to do that, buddy, but
we got to move on.
You can't tell us how to run our own show, buddy.
Okay. Let's get to a little bit more normalcy here.
Let's bring Burks back. Let's bring Burks up. Burks, how are you?
What's up, my man? Yeah, no, hey, listen, this guy, he has some serious mental issues, so just don't bother with it. I'm here to talk Ohio State football, so
let's do it.
Yeah, man.
What you got, man?
So, you guys going to the spring game Saturday or no?
I will not be. I unfortunately have other work obligations, so I will not be able to make it.
Garrison?
Garrison doesn't even live in the state.
So I don't live in the state.
I know that, but you could drive, man. Come on, dude.
I had something planned already with my buddies because we're still my birthday was yesterday, but we're doing stuff on Saturday.
Yeah, Burks, you'd rather go to Michigan spring game than Ohio State spring game.
I can't wait for him to be there, man.
Don't say rather. But
you're showing up there.
Well, I'm showing up there in my Jeremiah jersey. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. I can't wait because and plus. They have a really good sandwich place in Ann Arbor. Whatchamacallit? Zingerman's, and I love their Reuben. So
yeah, so I just first of all I just want to appreciate that you guys are a channel that I like how you guys don't talk like 3-4 times a week like the Hammer's coming and all this like scoop and stuff. So I appreciate that. You just talk about the Hammer when there's actual news. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to know is there any I don't know, this is a random question I'm gonna ask, but is there any player some walk-on or something Ohio State football who's making himself a name and he could be a starter on the roster or not really?
I don't know about starter, but they're gonna get TC Caffey back at running back. He hurt himself last year, he tore his ACL, so he was actually expected to get some carries last year. I don't know if he's going to get carries this year. I think now that Peoples is back, they got Donaldson out of the transfer portal and Sam Williams-Dixon came back. I don't see Caffey really getting carries. He's probably the guy closest to possibly getting time, but it's not typical for this team. Xavier Johnson was an anomaly a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Cool.
Yeah, and I would agree with him. TC Caffey would be the one I would say. Out of Ohio, played his freshman year, had a half ridiculous cool run. I don't know how he got the touchdown on that. Till this day, Ryan, I don't know how he scored on that touchdown. It looked like trash, to be honest. But no, he's a guy that he's big. You know, he's got some wiggle to him. He's a good athlete. He just isn't up to par with what else is in that group. But I do believe he's someone who could be used. I think he could be one of those guys, honestly, Burks, that could be on special teams and make plays there.
That's nice. And then
on kickoff, on a kickoff team, not kick return team.
Yeah, that's cool. And then I have this is like the biggest one, but is the Julian Sayin and Lincoln Keenholz, is that like a legit battle? Like, is this like legit? Like, Sayin is actually getting like he's actually getting like, I don't know, I'm not saying he's losing, but he's actually facing real competition, or is this all like bullcrap buzz of like they like to do this to be like, to make it suspenseful? Like, what do you guys think about that?
Burks, I think it's hard to tell because for sure, I mean, Lincoln definitely has looked better in recent weeks. Like last weekend, he was definitely the best quarterback at the student appreciation scrimmage. Like there was no doubt about that. Sayin just didn't have his best stuff. That was honestly the second scrimmage in as many weekends that he didn't look great, and Keenholz kind of surpassed him. So I do think it's more of a legit competition now, but I ultimately do think Sayin will end up winning the job. We're going to learn more about the spring game. I know Garrison's been beating the drum for Lincoln all off season, and you've been beating his drum. I mean, you've been saying he deserves more of a shot, which you've been right about.
Yeah, that's all. At the end of the day, I do believe Julian's going to win this battle. Because at the end of the day, I do think Ryan Day is sitting there also trying to push the buttons for Julian. I do think he's doing that. And by the way, like for both of you guys, Ryan and Burks, my biggest fear is Lincoln leaving. If Julian is that's my biggest fear.
Yeah.
But I actually today don't think he will. I actually don't. Because I think Ohio is going to find a way to like kind of talk to him and say, look, like we need you.
Hey, the competition's close. You should stay in the fall. See if you can win it.
Yeah, like Ryan Day, man, like he's not going to call this off until after the spring portal is done with. So it's is it kind of nasty in a way? I guess, sure, but who cares? It's big time college football, and we need you.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, honestly. Like this QB battle is like way more. I feel like this is more of a closer battle than like Michigan, like Underwood and Keene. Like the fact that so many Michigan fans thought like, oh, Keene was going to win the starting job and then Underwood would take it. No, dude. Like, holy crap. I honestly think Michigan fans can be brain dead. I'm sorry. Because, like, you got to be kidding me, man. Like, Underwood is, like, the best prospect since, like, Trevor Lawrence, in my opinion. I'm not, like, I don't know. You guys may not agree with this, but I just think so just because I see his film and stuff. I'm not even trying to be biased. And I heard about Tavian St. Clair. Like, he's a little raw. Is that true?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He doesn't really have a shot to win the job this year. I mean, he's a true freshman. He's kind of learned the offense and all that. He's just not ready, which is fine because they've got two other guys that they think can be.
Yeah, it's funny, Burks. I actually had a big argument with some Buckeyes because the question was about TSC and Bryce Underwood, and I told them, I said, look, guys, I like TSC, I like St. Clair. I think he's gonna be a really good player someday. He's right here, right now. Like Bryce, I'm always gonna be. I was telling Ryan earlier. I'm a fan of this sport before I'm a fan of my team, and I can look at a player and know what I'm looking at. You know what I'm saying? Like I said from the get go, and this is when Bryce was committed to LSU. I said, the only way you ruin Bryce Underwood is coaching. It's almost impossible to fail with a kid like that. So, it's just I think if you fail with a kid like him, it means the coaching was bad.
Maybe.
But but either way, TSC is not in this competition.
No.
Nor should he be. I've said this before. If at some point or somehow he is playing this season, that's not a good thing.
Unless it's in mop-up time.
Yes, unless it's mop-up time.
Yeah, no, I actually, in my opinion, I do feel like Tavian. Here's the thing with Tavian, he can be really, really good. Like you don't understand. Like his size, he already has the QB size, all of this stuff. Like he's actually pretty athletic. He can throw. He more athletic than CJ Stroud. But yeah, he is really extremely, extremely raw. And I do think like Underwood is so much. And Buckeye fans will always be like. Buckeye fans, some of these like Scoop fans, we're basically like Scoop haters, most of us, because they like to talk their crap. But they're like, oh yeah, they're like, oh, they call him Bryce Underwear, and it's just so cringe. And it's like, oh, Tavian is so much better. I'm like, no, dude, I'm sorry, but like, and I've seen both of their film. Listen, I try not to ever be biased, like whenever I talk Michigan or Ohio State. Like, I'm telling you right now, when Michigan fans say that JJ McCarthy is better than CJ Stroud, I actually want to like jump off a cliff because CJ Stroud is. Remember, Garrison, when you were at May's Madman's show and there was that debate, CJ Stroud and JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, that was the most ridiculous conversation ever. One of the most ridiculous conversations I've ever been a part of.
Holy crap! I lost brain cells, dude. No. I actually lost brain cells, dude.
Yeah, it
like,
was bad.
Is this even a question? Obviously, CJ Stroud is better, dude. What the hell, man? Like, I was like,
Bergs. My best friend, like one of my best friends here in the state, like where of course I live in Michigan. This is actually a conversation I've had with them. Like this is actually a real conversation some fans have, and I don't get it.
Yeah, dude. He won Big Ten Player of the Year. McCarthy never won Big Ten Player of the Year or was even like a third team All-American or second team. Stroud was actually second team All-American, third team All-American for his 2 years. His touchdowns. Now I will say this, right? I will say with McCarthy, Harbaugh did kind of, I feel like, not develop him amazing. They were like a first run, so we don't know crazy much. But I'm sorry, dude. Stroud is a better college QB. It is what it is. This debate is over. When Michigan fans say this, it's like people saying like, "Oh, but McCarthy won a championship, a ring." It's like, okay, well, Joe Flacco won a championship, but is Dan Marino, who never won, right? Like, is Joe Flacco better than Dan Marino? No, Dan Marino's obviously better than Joe Flacco. It's like stupid crap like that, man. Like, I just hate delusional takes. I just can't stand them.
I wanted to pull this up while we were talking about this, about Bryce Underwood in the town in high school. I honestly have the same concerns about Tavian because the conference he was playing in, it is not the best. Let's just put it that way. There's some not good talent out there. And, because he played at Bell Fountain, it's a smaller school. The conference is not very good.
Wasn't it in the middle of nowhere? Wasn't it like in the middle of nowhere in Ohio?
Bell Fountain's kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. And when they got to the playoffs, there was a difference.
Yeah, no, Underwood was in the best competition in all of Michigan, dude. And that's what I'm saying. Like, he just had better competition. His arms, all this stuff. There's a reason why they paid him this much. I think Tavian is probably making only like $1 million, in my opinion. I feel like that's what I feel if I give an estimate in NIL. But like Underwood, man, they went all in for him for a reason. He's just that much, I feel, talented right now. Eventually, Tavian can be more talented, but he is raw right now. Underwood is a better prospect as of now. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And the good thing is, I mean, your head coach is Ryan Day.
True. You're going to get good receivers. You're always going to get stacked with good receivers. Michigan, I'm already freaking out about our receivers, man. Like, it's actually crazy how we have not recruited. Okay, we got some, good guys this class, but, like, we need, like, a 5-star stud. And I'm sorry to say this, but, Ohio State is the best school for receivers with LSU, and that's the problem. And honestly, if I was a QB, like, obviously I'd go for Michigan, but if I was, like, let's say I wasn't a fan of any, I would probably play for Ohio State as a QB just because I'm going to get the weapons and, I can win games. That's just how it is, and this is something that, Michigan's going to have to fix. I don't know if they can ever fix it because of their run first offense, but we'll see.
Yeah. We'll see what how things turn out. I saw that coming. I was going to pull it up, but
I tried to contain. I was getting angry. I got angry. I'm sorry for getting angry, guys. I'm sorry. I forgot this isn't a Twitter space. Sorry for that.
I was going to cut him off sooner than that, but I wanted to be nice. Anything else for us, Brooks?
No, man. Nice talking to you,
question.
Garrison. You're my bro. Remember that.
Can I ask you a question before you go?
Yeah, of course.
So, how do you? Who on the offensive line, right?
Yeah.
Actually, no, forget that. Do you think Shamari Earls is going to start this season?
Who?
Shamari Earls.
Ah, man, that's a good one. But I think he will actually. I feel like this hype is legit. It's getting like Devin Sanchez type hype. Like Devin Sanchez is actually apparently he can make a run for starter. This is legit hype. I think Shamari Earls and Jair Hill will be our two guys. Because and then we'll get for nickel we'll have Zeke Berry. So yeah, I think those three will be our starters. But yeah.
All right. Well, appreciate you calling in here, Burks.
Yeah,
Always
of course, man.
good talking to you.
Yeah, man.
Thank
Good
you, man.
talking to you. Yeah. Take care.
See you. Well, Garrison, there's actually one other thing I wanted to hit before we get out of here because it's been a topic in the chat.
I actually want to hit all of the quick takes, but yeah, though, let's go with what you were about to say, though.
Yeah, well, what I was just going to say is a topic in the chat seems to be whether or not fans are split on whether or not they should, if Nico were to enter the transfer portal, if Ohio State should go after him.
Let's have the conversation, everybody. Let's have the conversation, everybody. Let's have it.
I have a very quick answer to that. First of all, I don't know if Nico's going to enter the portal. This all stems from reports that he is now renegotiating NIL with Tennessee, like they're trying to figure something out. Which, that is what it is. I've got my own opinions on players negotiating to stay with the school after, 1 year for that. But I don't know if I would. I don't think I'd want Nico here. I don't think I would. I think I would stick with with the group they've got with Sayin, Kean Holtz, and Taven St. Clair. I don't think Nico didn't show me shit in the shoe. I mean, you know what? That's not true. He was the only guy who was actually trying to make plays. Like he was making plays with his legs. The offensive line was not helping him. But I don't think that he would be better than the options that we have. What are your thoughts?
First off, before I even answer that question, I want to say this. He is in no place to be negotiating a contract, trying to get more money out of the University of Tennessee.
Absolutely.
Is it Tennessee University or University of Tennessee? UT.
University of Tennessee.
Yeah, UT. If I was the head coach at Tennessee, as soon as he said something to me, I would have told him, you can hit the portal.
Yeah.
The last time we saw you, the whole nation saw you get the pants. Saw your helmet get cracked twice.
Yeah, based off that last performance, what makes you think you earned more money?
Yeah, it's amazing to me that this is even a story. But the time to go after Nico would have been in the fall. I'm sorry, in the fall. That would have been the time to do that. I don't. There's no good that can come out. This is the only reason you do it. This is the only reason you do it. If Lincoln leaves. And the problem even with that is that Nico's not going anywhere, guys, if he doesn't believe he's a starter. It's kind of like with the Will Howard. It's kind of like the Will Howard situation. Everybody was sitting there telling me that Devin Brown had a chance. And I said, you are insane if you think you got a fifth-year senior to come to Ohio State to even be a challenge to be a backup or starter. There's no way you do that. And truth be told, I don't think Nico's as good as Julian Sand. Now, I haven't seen Julian Sand play a full real game yet, but I'll take my chances. And I don't think Nico can throw the ball that well. Because here's the thing, you also got to think about this. The offense that they ran a few years ago when they were slinging the ball around the place, there's a reason why they couldn't do that last year. Because Nico can't.
I will say he didn't. I wouldn't say his wide receivers were exactly grade A, but he also missed some throws.
Well, yeah, you still need the guys, of course. You're right. You are. And yeah, does playing with Ohio State talent help? Yeah, but like a guy like Will Howard. I saw Will Howard at Kansas State win the Big 12. Beat a TCU team that went to the national championship. So it's just I don't know. I don't think Nico is that. And again, I understand why everyone, if you like I saw Day One say you got to go after him. Okay, Day One, you go after Nico. He's in the spring. He's there in the spring. He barely knows the playbook. Julian knows all of it. How much money are you giving him?
That's the biggest thing for me is if he's trying to extort this amount of money from Tennessee already, like how much do you think he would want from Ohio State? And look, they have an NIL budget. Like they were $38 million in the hole in athletics last year. Like they're not just gonna throw money out willy-nilly anymore. Like they're going to have a strict budget that they've pretty much. I mean, they've already allocated. There's probably a few guys in the portal in the spring that they're looking at that they can go ahead and throw money at, but they would not. I don't think Nico would be the right move.
All right, let me look this up real quick, just so because I know everyone says Nico. I forgot the guy's name up on YouTube, but he says Nico, I am not a believer, and that is what I am. I am not a believer. So I want to go through his game log real quick because everyone's talking about his O-line. They talk about his receivers. So, of course, we all know Nico plays in the SEC. That's where he plays. So, which top to bottom of the conference, I would say has the most, probably the most talent in the country? Or no, it does. So, let me see if I can find this here. Okay, here it is. Where's the game log at? So I'm looking at this here. I mean, against guys, I'm looking at this right here. I mean, Alabama 14 for 27, Georgia goes 20 for 33. No. Against Kent State, he went 10 for 16. No. Against no.
I'll say this.
Listen.
He was pretty raw as a freshman. Like he certainly has talent. I just don't think he's necessarily right for Ohio State.
He went 17 for 29 for 158 against Arkansas.
Yeah, that's bad.
No, like, and I get it. But there's a few factors here. We're talking money. We're talking playbook. And then we're also talking about the fact that he's not going anywhere that he's not guaranteed the starting position. There's no way. And I don't believe Julian Sand is going to be a problem. I'm willing to ride it out with Lincoln than going against Nico. I really am.
Yep, I agree. I just wanted to have that conversation here at the end because I know that was a hot topic there in the chat a little bit. So.
And before we get going here,
yeah.
Oh, go ahead. No, what? You have something else?
No, I was going to ask you if you had something. So go ahead.
Wait, let me make sure here. Oh yeah. Malcolm Butler, real quick. Looks like
Matt Patricia. You can talk about Malcolm Butler. Yeah.
So I saw that. It was really interesting. When I saw the picture, I said, oh, "There's no way that's Malcolm Butler." And then I looked. I said, "Oh, it is Malcolm Butler." So what? I mean, me personally, I was like, okay, well, first, that's really cool. Super Bowl champion, made one of the biggest plays in NFL history. Now we can also talk about the call that was made by
Pete Carroll kind of handed them that pick.
But I think that's really cool. I think it's I'm guessing he's just an assistant. What are you hearing about that?
I mean, based on what I've heard, he's just kind of hanging out with Patricia right now. Like he basically just brought him in to kind of help, just kind of coach the guys a little bit. I'm hoping he spends time with Iggy to tell him how to not be so handsy on man-to-man coverage and get fewer penalties. But I don't think it's something where he's going to be like a permanent coach or anything. I think he's just kind of hanging out in the spring. But, I mean, you never know. Maybe they just bring him on as another defensive analyst since there's no limit to that, and they can just give him $75K to just kind of chill and tell Iggy not to hold.
Yeah. Because he's not hurt for money. He probably doesn't pay for beer in the Boston area anymore. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then they're revealing the rings, man.
They are getting the rings.
I
And I
can't wait
think
to see those.
yeah, I mean, based on Ryan Day's reaction, they're massive, which they should be. They should be.
And by the way, like, did you read? So did you look at the comments under the post?
I did not.
When you have a chance, and everyone in here, I encourage you to do this. Go look at all. There might be more T-Ton comments than Ohio State comments. Just pure hate. I think it's hilarious because they would say, "Oh, we don't think about you guys the way you think about us." That's a damn lie. That is like.
I'll check it out here once we get out of here. But
then,
that'll. No, go ahead. You got one more? Go ahead.
No, real quick before we go here, just want to give a shout out to our members.
Yes.
Doreen, Blue Wolverine, All Stars Align, Bootzilla, Jordan Capier, Grizz, Robert, love you, man, Jam, Philip, Doug Shepard Sr. Let's get that. Let's say the whole thing. Then John, Bruce Ferguson, we appreciate you guys. Also, Blue Wolverine, he gave 10 of those people memberships. We really appreciate you, man. There are some good Wolverines in the world, you know.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate any contributions you guys bring. Like I said, we at the start of the show want to build a community, that's built around Buckeye football, and love having conversations with you guys. So,
before we go, I just want to give this guy a chance because I don't know if you have to get going. Do you?
I got a little bit of time.
Johnny, do you need to call up? I'm asking you now. This is going once, going twice. Eat your chicken soup with rice. All right, Johnny.
Right.
Next Thursday, like Johnny, you're my friend, but you're running from me, and I don't like it. So
He got in a little late. I think he intentionally came in closer towards 9 because he knew we were going to wrap up. So.
See, that's what I'm talking about. No. Oh, Steve. Never forget, you are so appreciated. Like Steve's the only guy that watches from X, and if you're doing that, that's some dedication. That's some dedication to watch the show, Steve. We always appreciate you, bud.
Absolutely appreciate it.
And this is just another reminder, everyone. I have 2 rookie CJ Stroud cards, and so I'm trying not to pay out the ass for them to get them signed. So if you have a way of getting them signed, please let me know, and I will give you one of the cards.
I hope you find someone who can.
I really will, dude. I need that.
Yeah. Well, that'll do it for us tonight. We'll be back on Monday for the Primetime Live show, and we will be recapping all things spring game. But go ahead.
Yeah. Mike and I will be doing a post game. Ryan, if you have time, please call into that. Well, if you can. So if you have time, find a way to call into that. But
I'll see if I've got time. I'll be rushing through work, so I'll see if I've got enough time to get in there.
Oh yeah, you are a writer.
I am a writer, yeah. So, and unfortunately, Saturdays are my Fridays. So, I gotta get that stuff done. So,
I'll sleep on it day one.
Yeah, sure. We'll think about that. We'll see you guys on Monday. OH.
IO. I said, yeah, you got it.